Hello everyone, DK here, and welcome to my second video tutorial on the 001 Game Creator engine. It is currently 9:29 PM on the 27th of March 2021, and in this video we're going to be talking about Tileset Animations. Let's go ahead and open up the software. And one thing I didn't talk about last time is if you click on this question mark over here, you can get to a local version of the documentation that's on your computer. Comes with the installation, so you would not have to be online to check it. Here it is right here. I think it's exactly the same as the online one, except saved locally on your computer. You can also reach their YouTube channel through these options. The last video they had up was 5 months ago as of now. Anyway, let's go ahead and create a new game. It's going to be a blank template again. Let's call it Tileset Practice 2. At the end of the last tutorial, we created a resource that we can import into any of our projects. So let's go ahead and create a new map. We'll call it Test 1. Let's have the width and height at 35. And here is our black void. So in order to import the tileset resource we created last time, we can click on this file cabinet icon up there, and we can browse to the location where we saved or exported that resource. Then we can just go ahead and click on Go. So the engine will tell you if it was imported or not, and we can't see it yet, but if we go to the lower objects tab and back to the floor tab, it should appear right here. Let's go ahead and remove the black void. I'm going to use the paint bucket to put the lighter colored grass, and let's go ahead and put a small patch of dirt in it. We can add a few details here and there. And there you have it. Of course, the dark grass also works, and the terraformation we had earlier from the first video still exists. Now, it is recommended to watch the first video before this one, because I'm going to be going through some stuff we did last time very quick in this one. Although I will try to skim over it as I go about it. Now, let's go ahead and create a new tileset with this Add Resource button. We're gonna go ahead and click on the tileset extractor. I know that each tile in the asset is 128 by 128 pixels, and I will be using the same asset as last time, but the water section. As you can see, there are 4 blocks of water. One of them surrounded by dirt, and the other surrounded by grass. This is the same grass color we had in the first video as the background, or the grass that encompasses everything else. We know that this will not fit in this area right here. So let's go ahead and change the the style to expanded, and now we can select this whole box and go ahead and click on the top left corner of the tileset extractor. There we have it. We already have everything we need to draw water on this map as of now. So this is a dirt patch. This is how it would look within dirt. And real quick, I'll go ahead and draw it in the lighter grass colored area. So, how does animation work in the engine? Let's rename this tileset to Grasslands A, which stands for animated 1. I like to have my scripting ID the same as my display name in my projects. So in order to have an animation for a tile, let's say this is the tile I want to have the animation for. Here there is a panel that lists all the frames in your animation. If you click on the edit button, you can choose the next frame that's going to appear after this tile. So I'm going to click on the exact same tile that's over here on this second block, the top left corner. And then I'm going to click on the third one and the fourth one. This is how much time will be spent on each of these frames. Let's set it to 0.3. I think this is of a second. And you can see the visual representation of how long over here on the left. Now that I have all 4 tiles, I'm gonna deselect the edit button, and then I'm gonna go to the tile right after it, click on the edit button, choose these 3 tiles, set the time to 0.3, and deselect the edit button. I'm gonna do the same thing for all of these tiles, and continue with the video on normal speed from then. See you then. So that's it for these tiles. I have them all listed out with 0.3 seconds in each of the between to be spent on each frame. Now if we go back and set the tiles on the map, we can see how the animation would look like without having to start up the game, as that's a functionality within the engine. Let's first put the tile sets we changed over here, and then in order to see the animations, we can click on this Animate Animations button, and there you have it. As you can see, we have some movement, and this is exactly what it would look like if the player was playing the game. You can make the animation go faster if you decrease the time spent on each frame, or you can make it slower by increasing the time spent on each frame. So right now I am having to manually set each tile on the map. So if I wanted to draw a detailed section of water, I'd have to set everything myself. So this would be the corner. I'd have to make a long enough side, the other corner. I would do this area full of water, do the upper part. And finish it up like so. Now that does take a lot of time to do. It is still animated, but there has to be a faster way of doing this, where the engine does everything it needs to do by itself and chooses the correct blocks for us. Now that was the subject of the last video, and it actually is still possible even if you are adding, even if you want to do it in an animated way. Let's go back to the tileset editor. Exactly like last time, we're gonna copy this base water tile, paste it over here. Remember, it'll transfer everything about this tile, including the terraformation, and the animation. So in order to remove this animation, you can right click on each of these tiles until it's all gone, and we're gonna go ahead and add one terraformation to this tile right here. Make sure when you copy paste, the selection stays at 128 by 128 pixels. And now we can start crafting this box out of these tiles. I will be using this corner and this side, this corner and this side, this is the top left section, the top tile, and the lower left corner. Now we did transfer everything, including the animations, but when we just use this as a template for copy pasting a picture, that data won't transfer. So go ahead and save your tileset. Try to do so after every single step, as the engine is prone to crashing when you're copy pasting a lot of things in the tileset editor. I'm gonna copy this section, go to the terraformation, paste it in this box. We know from the last video that this middle block is supposed to be a patch of water surrounded with grass, which is kind of like this picture right here. Now this isn't 128 by 128 pixels, which this box does need, so we can go ahead and copy it and go to paint, paste it, and resize it to 128 by 128 pixels. Let's copy that, go back to the engine, paste it in the middle block. We know that the convex section is the opposite of this, so it's gonna be a patch of grass surrounded with water, and it did come with the tileset asset. Let's go ahead and save. Grab this chunk over here, copy it, and paste it in the bottom box. We know that this box in the middle is made up out of the 4 inner corners of these 4, but we know that these 4 were created with the image we pasted here. So what we can do is edit this tile at the bottom, and we'll grab the middle 128 by 128 pixels of this picture. So I'm gonna head and snap to grid. I'll let my grid be chunks of 64, and I'm gonna grab the middle 4 with my selection tool up here. You can see I grabbed 128 by 128 pixels. Let's go ahead and copy and paste that in here. There we have it. Now we have the first terraformation for the first chunk of blocks. I'm gonna go ahead and save, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing except with this tile and the other ones. See you after I'm done. Alright, so right here, the engine ran into the bug where everything disappears. Now I won't lose much time because I was saving after every single step. What you want to do is close without saving, and then just restart your project without saving this map. Here you can submit the bug report. Let's click on Tileset Practice 2, close. You can click yes over here. It'll just reload the map as we had it last. If I go back to the Tileset editor, because I was saving after every single step, I didn't lose any time at all. Alright, back to the ×2 speed. Okay, that's it for all 4 terraformations for all 4 of these sections. Now, if we go ahead and click on the first block, edit it, and click on the second frame, third frame, and fourth frame, set the time to 0.3. Let's go ahead and save the tileset and test it out on the map. Let's scroll down to the tile we created. It's this first one right here. And let's start pasting it in the map. Actually, let's go ahead and do it in a grass section. Over here seems good. 1 block, a line, vertical line. You try to avoid the sections where it comes out to a pointy block like this. Just, if you're making something, try to make it look decent. So here's a patch of terraformed water. It was automatically terraformed, and if we click on the Animate Animations icon up top, you can see it is still animated. Alright, now I'm gonna do the exact same thing, except I'm going to be using this tile as the base water, and I'm gonna be using the dirt corners and sides. These two, these two, these two, and these two. I'm gonna speed things up a bit and see you after I'm done.
Thank you.
One more crash. Okay, so that's it for our 4 dirt water tiles. Let's go ahead and click on the first one, edit the animation, 1, 2, 3 extra frames, set the time to 0.3, deselect the edit button. Alright, saving our tileset, we can go back to the map, go to this patch of dirt over here, and let's just paint over this section right here with this new block. It automatically terraformed for us. The sections that have kind of a pointy section look better than they did in the grass at least. And if we click on the Animate Animations button, you can see the water is moving. Now, can we put this sparkling or moving water within this solid color water? It seems like we can't. I did have to step away for a couple hours, but hopefully the video will remain coherent. So, we found out last that we could not put the solid water inside the animated water and vice versa. So here's a chunk of solid water with the grass outline. If we try to put it between the animated water, it shows this, and if you try to the opposite, it shows that. You might remember from the last video when we were doing the grasslands tiles, I made a point not to leave your tiles like this and always copy 128 by 128 pixel tile into another one so that what just happened doesn't happen. But as it turns out, as I found out later, that wasn't actually the issue that was causing this. And just to confirm, if we have a patch of dirt and we set this within it, it doesn't mess up the terraformation like what happened up here. So you might wonder, well, both of these are based on dirt surrounded by grass. So the terraformation of this one is dirt surrounded by light grass, and the terraformation of this one is the same thing. And actually, this one on the right, was used based off a template of this one on the left. So we copied, pasted this one on the left, and that's how we made the one on the right in the last video. So maybe the problem is that one of the tiles we're trying to use right now is water that's surrounded by grass, while the other tile is water surrounded by dirt. To confirm that this is not the problem, let's take these 4 tiles that are made of that are water surrounded by dirt, copy them, paste them over here. Let's remove the animations of this first tile, and let's copy these solid colored water tiles into the editable selection section of each of these tiles. Now I think the solid color is the same in all 4 of these, but I'll do a copy paste on each of them for each block just in case. Alright, I'll speed it up for a bit. Alright, now that we have both the solid water and the animated water that's surrounded by dirt, let's animate the solid water terraformations. So, I'm trying to save the tileset and it won't let me. It tells me that one of my tiles has a different number of terraformations than the other tiles in this animation sheet up here. So remember the mistake I was talking about last video, where I warn you not to copy paste these tiles but to copy paste in the editable selection? Well, this third tile over here I actually copy pasted on the tile itself. So I just transferred this tile to this tile, which lost me all the terraformations. Let's go ahead and copy this third one back and copy paste this image where it's supposed to be. Now it should be able to save, and let's test it out. So here's our chunk of dirt. I'm painting over all of these with the animated water surrounded by dirt. And now let's try the solid water surrounded by dirt. The same problem is still happening, so it definitely wasn't what we thought it was. Now, before moving on and fixing this issue, I'm gonna add each of these non-vanilla sides into each of these terraformations. I'm gonna speed it up while I do that. Alright, now that we have a solid and an animated water tile surrounded by dirt with variation on one of them, let's go ahead and grab all of these and copy them, and I'll grab this area over here and paste them. I'm doing this because I want this first row right here to be the varied grass with animated water. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pasting these 4 tiles into the editable selection. I'll speed this up. And now I'm gonna do the variation sides, but for the sake of consistency, I'm gonna put the variations in the solid waters terraformation. Alright, so now that we have varied animations for terraforming solid water and normal vanilla sides for the animated water for both dirt and grass, we can start talking about the problem. By the way, I did remove the animation reel from all of these You can do so by right-clicking any of these tiles. If you right-click one of them, it will remove it from the reel. If you try to right-click on the first one, you can't really remove it, but if you remove every single other one in the reel, the animation disappears. So the problem is that they don't all share the same neighboring tile. If you go to one of these tiles and click on the terraformation, over here it says optional on neighboring tiles. Let's choose the light colored grass, which is in another tile set, the first one we made in the first video, and click on OK. So now the animated water terraformation and the solid water terraformation both have the same neighboring tiles. So if we save the tile set and go to the map to try to test this, another error. Let me just restart the engine real quick. And back to our test map. So, now that we have the same neighboring tile for both of our first boxes of grass tiles, let's see. Here we have the neighboring tile. Let's draw one. It's not terraforming. And let's try the second one. We can see that the solid water is actually terraforming and not messing up the tiles of the neighboring water like it did before. So here's what was happening before. This is terraforming correctly. But if you try to draw the solid water, it does this. So why isn't this stuff on the right terraformed correctly? Well, it's because we didn't choose the neighboring tile to be this light colored grass that has shrubs in it or grass blades in it. So, but if we set the correct kind that we actually chose, you can see it does terraform. Now we can go back and grab all of these, copy them, go back to our main tile set, and paste them. Now I'm gonna go through each of these and set both of the light colored grass tiles as the neighboring tiles, and then I'm gonna go through the dirt and set both the neighboring tiles, or all three neighboring tiles, to be these three dirt tiles. I'll speed things up and see you then. Okay, that was it for all 8 terraformations of the grass surrounded water. I have the neighboring tiles set to both the light colored grass and the light colored grass with blades. Now I'm gonna do the dirt tiles. All 8 of them are gonna have the 3 dirt tiles as their neighboring tiles. I'll speed things up again. And that was it. Now let's reset the animations. 1, 2, 3. 0.3 seconds. 0.3 of a second between each. 1, 2, 3. And let's save. One thing we should have been doing but haven't been are just naming each tile. I think that's the name that appears. I don't know if it's involved in coding, but it will be the name that appears when you point at the tile with your mouse in the draw tab. So let's call this light grass. Light grass 2, dark grass 2, dirt 1, dirt 2, dirt 3, grass water 1, grass water 2, dirt water 1, and dirt water 2. Let's quickly try to test this tile set. Back to our test map. I'm just gonna repaint the whole area with the bladed grass, and we'll try to insert our water. This is the grass water. One tile, here's a line, vertical line, slightly bigger area. You can see some pointy edges there, try to avoid those when you draw. Here's grass water 2, Here's how it looks like when it's animated. The edges of the solid water are also moving. Here's what happens when we try to put one of these tiles inside the other. It works. And here's what happens when we try to pepper in some details on the edges. It works. Now let's do the same thing for dirt. Here's a patch of dirt 1, and just in case, a patch of dirt 2 and a patch of dirt 3. Here's dirt water 1, and let's try to put dirt water 2 inside dirt water 1. It works. Doesn't mess anything up. Here's dirt water 2 by itself. And it works on adding flare or details on the edges. Last thing we're gonna do is export this tile set, which will save all the work we did during this tutorial. I'm gonna keep it Grasslands 1 and overwrite the older resource that I had. That's it for this video. As always, please tell me if there's any way I can improve. Let me know if you liked me speeding up the footage more than you liked me pausing and unpausing the recordings. I did it so that you can at least slow down the footage if you needed to and see what I did exactly, if you were confused, rather than trying to figure out what happened by yourself in case you didn't understand what I did. As for the next video, we're gonna be talking about this variability section over here, and we're gonna be talking about objects. The stuff we didn't use in this section, which is these rocks and even these two tiles, we want those to be objects that are gonna be blocking the player when he or she tries to move through these tiles. Thank you for watching. See you then.